The morning sun on Terminus Prime cast 3 different colored shadows across the training grounds. Tay stood among 46 other students, all from different worlds, all speaking different languages. His translation earpiece buzzed softly as it worked to keep up with the chatter around him. He was the only human in the class. The Galactic Survival Academy was famous across all known space. Every species that wanted to explore new worlds, build colonies on harsh planets, or serve in deep space missions sent their best people here. Tay had applied 3 times before Earth's government finally selected him. He was proud to be here, even if the other students kept staring at him like he was some kind of strange pet. Instructor Velthar walked onto the platform. The Quilarian was impressive, standing nearly 8 feet tall with 4 arms that moved independently. His skin changed color slightly with his mood, currently showing the calm blue-green of a teacher ready to start class. He had been teaching survival skills for over 200 years. "Welcome to Advanced Survival Training," Velthar announced. His voice came through everyone's translators in their native languages. "In this course you will learn to survive on worlds that want to kill you. The universe is beautiful, but it is also deadly. My job is to make sure you understand the difference." The first week covered basic skills: how to build shelter from materials on different planet types, how to find water that would not poison you, how to signal for rescue when your technology failed. Tay took careful notes, just like everyone else. But the second week was about plants. "This is the most important lesson you will ever learn," Velthar said seriously. His skin darkened to deep purple, showing how serious he was. "Technology fails, equipment breaks, but plants are everywhere. Some will save your life. Others will end it. You must know which is which." He activated the holographic projector. A 3-dimensional image of a plant appeared, floating in the air above them. It had purple flowers and dark green leaves. Several students shifted nervously in their seats. "This is Solanaceae variant 7, Velthar explained. "It produces a chemical called solanine. This toxin attacks the nervous system. For most species in this room, touching this plant would cause pain. Eating it would cause death within hours. It grows on 73% of habitable worlds." Around the room, students made notes. Some touched their data pads. Others recorded the image directly into their memory implants. One student from a water world turned slightly gray with fear. Tay raised his hand. Velthar's skin flickered with surprise. Humans rarely spoke up in class. "Yes, Cadet Tay?" "That looks like a potato plant, Instructor," Tay said. "We eat those on Earth." The classroom went completely silent. Even the soft hum of the translation devices seemed to stop. 46 pairs of eyes in many different colors and configurations turned to stare at the human. Velthar's forearms froze in mid-gesture. His skin went through several rapid color changes, from purple to orange to a confused yellow. "I apologize, Cadet. My translator must be malfunctioning. Could you repeat that?" "Potatoes," Tay said again, speaking slowly and clearly. "That plant looks like it makes potatoes. We grow them in fields. We cook them and eat them. They are one of our main food crops." A student from the Vexillian species made a choking sound. Her crystalline body structure began to vibrate with stress. Another student, a large Ergathian named Cole, leaned forward with interest. "You are saying?" Velthar spoke very carefully. "That humans deliberately grow a plant full of deadly neurotoxins and then consume its roots?" "Well, yes," Tay said. He was confused by all the attention. "But we cook them first. You should not eat them raw. That would make you sick." Velthar's skin turned completely white. In Quilarian body language, this meant total shock. "Class dismissed," he said quietly. "Early. Cadet Tay, please stay behind." The other students left quickly, whispering to each other in dozens of languages. Tay heard the word human repeated many times, along with words his translator marked as meaning crazy and death wish and impossible. When everyone was gone, Velthar sat down heavily on the edge of the platform. All 4 arms hung loose at his sides. "Cadet Tay, I must ask you something important. Was that a joke?" Do humans have a sense of humor about poisoning that I do not understand? No, sir, Tay said. He was starting to realize something strange was happening. Potatoes are normal food. Everyone on Earth eats them. We make them into chips, fries, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes. There are probably 100 ways to cook them. Show me, Velthar said. Tay pulled out his personal datapad and connected it to the classroom projector. He opened Earth's agricultural database and searched for potatoes. Images filled the air. Fields of potato plants stretching to the horizon, markets with bins full of potatoes. Recipes showing dozens of different potato dishes. Velthar stood up and walked closer to the images. His skin changed colors rapidly, cycling through shock, confusion, and what Ty thought might be fear. These images are real? This is actual human agriculture? Yes, sir. Potatoes are one of Earth's most important crops. Billions of humans eat them every day. The instructor was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something Tay had never seen before. Velthar touched a communication device on his wrist and spoke, in his own language, too fast for the translator to keep up. But Tay heard one word repeated several times, a word that came through clearly in every language. Emergency. Over the next hour, 3 more instructors arrived, along with a medical officer and someone from the Academy's biology department. Tay had to explain about potatoes again and again. Each time the listeners looked more disturbed. Finally, the biology specialist, a thin creature with too many legs, asked the question everyone seemed to be thinking. Cadet Tay, what else does your species eat? Tay thought about his breakfast that morning. Toast with butter and jam, scrambled eggs with black pepper, coffee with cream and sugar, orange juice. Do you want me to list everything or just start with common items? Start with anything else that contains known toxins, the medical officer said. Well, Tay began, there is coffee, and tea, and chocolate, and peppers. We really like peppers. Oh, and things like onions, garlic, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla. The medical officer fainted. When they revived her, she looked at Tay like he was a bomb about to explode. You season your food with poisons? We season our food with spices, Ty corrected. They make things taste good. Velthar's skin had settled into a steady dark gray. He looked very tired. Cadet Tay, you are dismissed for today. We need to research this situation. Please do not eat anything in the cafeteria. Bring food from your quarters. As Tay left, he heard the instructors talking in worried voices. He caught fragments through his translator. Never seen anything like this. How? Did they pass the medical screening? What else about their planet? Walking back to his room, Tay wondered what the big problem was. Potatoes were just potatoes. Everyone ate them. They were completely normal. Behind him, in the classroom, 6 of the galaxy's top survival experts were realizing that humans might be the most dangerous species ever to join the Galactic Union. And they had no idea why. The next morning, Tay found a message waiting for him. Instructor Velthar wanted to see him again, but this time in the main lecture hall. When Tay arrived, he was surprised to see the entire class already there, along with several other instructors he did not recognize. Velthar's skin was a nervous orange color. Cadet Tay, thank you for coming. I have spent the night reviewing Earth's database on human nutrition. With your permission, I would like to share my findings with the class. Tay shrugged. Sure, I guess. Please sit in the front, Velthar said. I may need you to explain some things. The lights dimmed. The holographic projector activated. Images of Earth foods began to appear in the air, one after another. But these were not normal food pictures. Each image had bright red warning symbols around it. Danger markers, skull icons, toxicity ratings. Class, what you are about to see will challenge everything you know about biology, Velthar began. Yesterday we learned that humans eat potato plants which contain solanine, a deadly neurotoxin. I thought this was an isolated incident, a strange quirk of human evolution. I was wrong. The first image appeared. Red peppers, bright and shiny. This is capsaicin, Velthar said. It is a powerful chemical weapon. Most civilized worlds use it in riot control devices. It causes extreme pain, difficulty breathing, and temporary blindness. The Galactic Convention classifies it as a non-lethal deterrent weapon. He paused. Humans put it in their food on purpose. Several students gasped. Cole, the big Ergathian, leaned forward with interest. Velthar looked at Tay. Can you explain this? Peppers taste good, Tay said simply. Some people like mild peppers, some like hot peppers. We grow hundreds of different types. They add flavor to food. Flavor, Velthar repeated slowly. You experience pain as flavor? Well, it burns a little, but you get used to it, Tay admitted. My grandmother makes kimchi that is really spicy. It hurts at first, but then you want more. A student in the back row made a horrified sound. The next image appeared, a root that looked twisted and pale. Horseradish, Velthar said, and its relatives wasabi and mustard. They contain allyl isothiocyanate. This chemical causes severe respiratory distress in 76% of known species. In concentrated form, it is used as a mining explosive. His voice grew quieter. Humans spread it on sandwiches. It is good with roast beef, Tay offered helpfully. Hana, the Vexillian student with the crystalline body, began to shake. Her internal structures vibrated with stress. More images appeared. Cinnamon, vanilla, coffee, tea, chocolate. With each one, Velthar explained the deadly chemicals they contained. With each one, Tay explained how humans use them every day. Coumarin in cinnamon causes liver failure, Velthar said. Banned in 40 worlds for medical research. We put it in cookies, Tay said. Theobromine in chocolate is a cardiac stimulant, Velthar continued. It would be classified as a Class 3 combat drug. We give it to children on holidays, Tay said. Oxalic acid in spinach destroys kidney function. My mother says it makes you strong. By this point, half the class looked sick. Hana's vibrations grew worse. Her crystalline body started to make a high-pitched ringing sound. And this, Velthar said, pulling up a final image, a glass filled with amber liquid, ethanol, an industrial solvent. Humans drink this recreationally. That was when Hana fainted. Her body hit the floor with a sound like breaking glass. The medical team had to be called. While they worked on reviving her, Velthar called for a break. During the break, Cole approached Tay. The Ergathian was massive, nearly 7 feet tall and covered in thick, armor-like skin. His species was famous for being tough. Human, he said. Your species drinks poison for fun? Alcohol, you mean? Tay asked. Yeah, some people do. Beer, wine, whiskey. It makes you feel relaxed. And these peppers, Cole continued, they cause pain? Yes. But you eat them anyway? Yes. Cole thought about this for a long moment. Your species is insane. Maybe, Tay admitted. But the food is really good. When class resumed, Velthar looked even more tired. His skin had faded to a dull gray. I have contacted the academy director, he said. This situation is unprecedented. We need to understand how human biology works. More importantly, we need to know what this means for the Galactic Union. An instructor from the xenobiology department stood up. Her name was Dr. Rin, and she had 8 eyes that could see in different spectrums. I have reviewed the data, she said. The human digestive system is unlike anything we have encountered. Their liver is extraordinarily aggressive. It can process toxins that would kill most species instantly. Their kidneys have redundant systems. Their gut contains billions of bacteria that help break down harmful chemicals. So humans are just naturally resistant to poison? A student asked. Not resistant, Dr. Rin corrected. Adapted. Human evolution occurred on a planet where everything was dangerous. Plants, animals, even the weather. To survive, humans had to be able to eat almost anything. They developed the ability to process toxins in sublethal doses. Sublethal, Velthar repeated, meaning the poison does not kill them, but it is still poison. Exactly, Dr. Rin said. And over time, humans began to prefer foods with these chemicals. They associated the sensation with nutrition. Pain became pleasure. Poison became flavor. The room was silent. Everyone was trying to understand this concept. It seemed impossible. It seemed insane. Are all Earth foods poisonous? Another student asked nervously. No, Tay said. We also eat normal things, rice, wheat, vegetables, fruit, meat. Most of our food is safe. Most, Velthar repeated. Not all. Well, you have to be careful with some things, Tay admitted. Do not eat rhubarb leaves. Do not eat green potatoes. Do not eat certain types of mushrooms. And do not eat anything if you do not know what it is. Your species has foods that can kill you and you have to memorize which parts are safe to eat? Dr. Rin asked in disbelief. Yes. And you teach this to your children? Of course. Everyone learns it. Cole laughed suddenly. It was a deep booming sound. I like humans, he announced. They are crazy, but they are interesting. Not everyone agreed. Several students looked at Tay with fear now. A few had moved their seats farther away from him. One student asked to be transferred to a different class. Belthar ended the session early again. We will continue with normal survival training tomorrow, he said. But I want everyone to write a report on human nutrition and what it might mean for interspecies cooperation. Cadet Tay, please include a list of common Earth foods with their chemical compositions. As the students filed out, Tay heard them talking. Some were fascinated, others were disturbed. A few wanted to try human food just to see what it was like. Most wanted to stay far away from the human cafeteria. Walking back to his quarters, Tay felt strange. He had never thought of his diet as unusual. Pizza was just pizza. Coffee was just coffee. Kimchi was just kimchi. But now he understood. To the rest of the galaxy, humans were eating poison every day and calling it delicious. He wondered what they would think if they knew about hot sauce competitions, or coffee that was so strong it could strip paint, or the ghost pepper challenge. Maybe it was better if they did not know. Not yet. Behind him, Velthar was updating his personal log again. Day 2 of human diet analysis, he recorded. I have discovered that humans are either the bravest species in the galaxy or the most foolish. I am not sure which. I am also not sure I want to know what else they eat. Request, never assign me to Earth Embassy duty. 2 weeks passed. The Academy tried to return to normal training, but nothing felt normal anymore. Students whispered when Tay walked by. Some avoided him. Others watched him eat with horrified fascination. Call started sitting with him at lunch, claiming he wanted to study human insanity up close. Then Velthar announced the field exercise. You will spend 72 hours on Kepler 442's moon, he explained. This is a Class 4 hazard world. The air is breathable, the water is safe, but the plant life is highly toxic. You will work in teams of 3. You will use only local resources. This will test everything you have learned. The instructor's skin rippled with a color that Tay had learned meant determination. I have also invited a special observer. This is Hyun from Earth's embassy. She is a human biology specialist. She will ensure Cadet Tay's safety during the exercise. Hyun was a small woman with sharp eyes and an amused smile. When she met Tay before the exercise, she laughed. I heard about the potato incident, she said in Korean, their shared language. You caused quite a panic. I just told the truth, Tay replied, also in Korean, I know. That is what makes it funny. She switched back to common language. Do not worry. I brought food from Earth just in case, although I think you will be fine. The teams were announced. Tay was grouped with Rixna, a cautious Dendari who looked at him like he might explode, and Cole, the massive Ergathian who seemed excited about the whole thing. Try not to poison yourself, human, Rixna said nervously. Her species looked like walking plants with vine-like appendages and leaves for hair. Try not to poison us, Cole added with a grin. They were transported to the moon in a shuttle. The landscape was beautiful and deadly. Purple grass covered the hills. Trees with orange bark grew in strange spiraling patterns. Flowers bloomed in colors that hurt to look at. Everything seemed peaceful. Belthar's voice came through their communicators. Remember your training. 43 plant species in your zone are lethal. I have uploaded the identification guide to your data pads. Do not eat anything unless you are absolutely certain it is safe. The other team spread out carefully, treating the environment like a minefield. They set up their shelters first, using emergency supplies. They would not risk the local plants until they had no choice. Tay's team found a clearing near a stream. Cole set up the shelter while Rixna organized their supplies. Tay walked around the area looking at plants. What are you doing? Rixna asked nervously. Checking what is available, Tay said. He knelt beside a cluster of purple bulbs. He pulled one up and smelled it. These are like onions. Those are Allium toxicus, Rixna shrieked. They cause respiratory failure in 63 species. But not in humans, Tay said. He brushed the dirt off and put the bulbs in his collection bag. Next, he found leaves that looked like basil. His datapad confirmed they contained compounds that caused hemorrhaging in Dendari. He picked them anyway. Then roots similar to ginger, which were powerful hallucinogens to most life forms. Then something like wild garlic. Rixna followed him around, growing more and more distressed. You are collecting poison. That is all poison. It is dinner, Tay corrected. By the time the sun began to set, Tay had gathered 14 different plants. All of them were on Velthar's danger list. Hyun, watching from the orbital station, was grinning. She recognized most of the plants from Earth equivalents. The other teams ate their emergency rations, bland bars that provided nutrition but no joy. They watched Tay build a fire and start cooking. He diced the onion-like bulbs. He chopped the basil-like leaves. He sliced the ginger-like roots. He crushed the garlic-like cloves. He mixed everything together with some of the stream water and cooked it over the fire. The smell spread across the camp. Alarms went off. Not physical alarms, but biological ones. 3 different teams activated their hazmat protocols, their suits sealed automatically, protecting them from what their sensors identified as airborne toxins. "What is that smell?" someone yelled over the communicator. "Dinner," Tay replied calmly. Hyun, still watching from orbit, prepared her own portion using similar ingredients. She had found the same plants on her side of the training zone. When she started cooking, the station's air quality sensors went crazy. Back at the camp, Cole approached the fire. His species was famous for being tough. They could survive in extreme temperatures, breathe toxic atmospheres, and eat almost anything. He prided himself on Ergathian endurance. "Human," he said, "I want to try your food." "I do not think that is a good idea," Tay warned. "I am Ergathian. We are strong. Give me some." Hyun's voice came through the communicator. "Cole, I really advise against this. Human food is—" "I know the risks," Cole interrupted. "I want to try it." Tay shrugged and handed him a portion. Cole took a large bite. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Cole chewed thoughtfully. Then his eyes went wide. His skin, normally a dark gray, turned bright red. He made a choking sound. "Water!" he gasped. "Water!" He drank an entire canteen. Then another. The red color spread across his body. He fell to his knees, making sounds that the translator could not process. "Medical emergency!" Rixana screamed. "Cole is dying." The medical shuttle arrived in minutes. They loaded Cole into a stasis pod, his body still bright red, his vital signs going crazy. The medics looked at Tay like he was a murderer. "What did you give him?" one demanded. "Soup," Tay said quietly. "I told him not to eat it." They took Cole back to the station. He survived. But he spent 6 hours in medical stasis while his body fought what it thought was poisoning from 7 different sources. When he woke up, the first thing he said was, "That was the most intense experience of my life." "What do humans call that sensation?" "Flavor," Hyun told him. "Flavor," Cole repeated slowly. "Humans eat flavor that strong every day?" "Some of us like it even stronger," Tay admitted. Cole was quiet for a long moment. Then he laughed, a weak but genuine sound. "Humans are insane. I was right. Completely insane." Back on the moon, the exercise continued. Tay and Rixana ate the emergency rations for the rest of the exercise, since Cole was in medical care. But everyone knew what had happened. Word spread through all the teams. The human had found 14 deadly plants and made dinner from them. Another human in orbit had done the same thing. And the worst part, the truly terrifying part, was that they seemed disappointed by the selection. "Limited ingredients," Tay had complained to Hyun over the communicator. "I know," she had agreed. "I miss proper peppers. These plants are too mild, too mild." They called plants that put an Ergathian in medical stasis too mild. In the command center, Velthar watched the satellite footage. He watched Tay and Hyun eating their toxic meals with casual enjoyment. He watched the other teams carefully rationing their safe, boring emergency food. He watched Cole being loaded into the medical shuttle. His skin cycled through every color in the Quillarian emotional spectrum, before settling on a deep, exhausted gray. "Computer," he said quietly, "update the Academy database. New entry. Human nutritional requirements are not compatible with standard survival training. Recommend separate curriculum for human students. Also recommend warning labels on human cafeteria. Also recommend never under any circumstances accepting dinner invitations from humans." The computer beeped acknowledgement. Velthar added one more note. Classification. Humans are officially the most dangerous species at the Academy, not because of their weapons or their strength, but because they eat breakfast that could hospitalize everyone else. On the moon below, Tay cleaned up from dinner, unaware of the chaos he had caused. He was just happy to have a decent meal, Tomorrow he would look for more ingredients, maybe something spicy. The incident with Cole made news across the Galactic Union. Not major news, but enough that people noticed. A human cadet had hospitalized an Ergathian, one of the toughest species in known space, with nothing but plants and water. The method was listed as food preparation. Within a week, the Galactic Biology Council demanded an investigation. They arrived at Terminus Prime in an official vessel, wearing formal robes, carrying data pads full of questions. There were 12 council members representing 12 different biological classifications of life. They wanted to know if humans were dangerous, if they should be restricted, if their presence in the Galactic Union was safe. Earth sent Dr. Suji to represent humanity. She was their top xenobiology expert, a woman with gray hair and patient eyes who had spent her career studying alien life. She arrived with a presentation prepared, 300 slides of data, and the calm attitude of someone about to teach a very important lesson. The hearing took place in the Academy's Grand Hall. All the students were allowed to watch. Tay sat in the front row next to Yun. Cole sat behind them, fully recovered, his skin back to normal gray. He had become something of a celebrity after surviving human food. The council chairman, a being made of crystallized thought energy, spoke first. Dr. Suji, we have reviewed the reports from the Galactic Survival Academy. We have serious concerns about human biology. Can you explain why your species consumes substances that are lethal to most other life forms? Dr. Suji smiled. Of course. But first let me ask you a question. How many mass extinction events has your homeworld experienced? The council members looked at each other, confused. Various answers came back. 1 event. 2 events. 3 at most. Earth has experienced 5 major mass extinction events, Dr. Suji said. 5 times life on our planet was almost completely destroyed. Each time the survivors had to adapt to radically different conditions. New atmospheres, new temperatures, new predators, new plants. She activated her presentation. Images of Earth appeared. Beautiful, deadly Earth. Our planet is what we call a crucible world, she continued. Everything there evolved to survive. The plants developed toxins to avoid being eaten. The animals developed ways to eat the plants anyway. This created an arms race that lasted millions of years. More images appeared. Tigers, bears, venomous snakes, poisonous frogs, deadly spiders, plants covered in thorns, flowers that could kill with a touch. Humans evolved as hunters, Dr. Suji explained. We were not the strongest. We were not the fastest. We did not have claws or fangs or armor. What we had was endurance. We could run for hours, tracking prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, and we could eat almost anything. A council member raised a hand. But why eat poison? Because we had to, Dr. Suji said simply. During ice ages, during droughts, during famines, humans ate whatever they could find. Roots that other animals would not touch, leaves that caused pain, seeds that made us sick. But some of us could tolerate these foods better than others. Those humans survived. They had children. Over thousands of generations, we developed stronger livers, better kidneys, tougher digestive systems. She pulled up a comparison chart. Human organs next to similar organs from other species. The differences were clear. Human livers were larger, more complex. Human kidneys had backup systems. The human gut contained thousands of bacterial species that helped break down toxins. We did not just survive the poison, Dr. Suji continued. We learned to use it. Small amounts of certain toxins helped us. Capsaicin from peppers improved our circulation. Caffeine from coffee helped us stay alert. Spices preserved our food and killed harmful bacteria. What started as survival became culture. She showed images now of human civilization, ancient spice trade routes, ships crossing oceans for pepper and cinnamon, wars fought over sugar and tea, stock markets trading coffee and chocolate. We built our world on these substances, Dr. Suji said. They were so important that they changed our history. We learned to cultivate the plants. We bred them to be stronger, more flavorful, more toxic. Where other species learned to avoid danger, humans learned to control it. The room was silent. Every species there was trying to understand this concept. It seemed backward, insane, but the data was clear. Another council member spoke. This one was from a water world. His species evolved in calm, peaceful seas. Are you saying humans actively seek out danger? In food, yes, Dr. Suji admitted. We have competitions to see who can eat the most painful peppers. We drink substances that would be classified as industrial solvents. We consider it entertainment. Minho, a human anthropologist who had come with Dr. Suji, stood up. May I add something? He asked. The council chairman nodded. It is not just about survival anymore, Minho said. It is about identity. Every human culture has its own special foods. Korea has kimchi, fermented vegetables so spicy they make your eyes water. India has curries with 20 different spices, each one toxic to someone in this room. Mexico has peppers that can cause temporary blindness. Italy has cheeses that are technically rotting, full of bacteria that would kill most species. These foods are not just nutrition. They are art, they are history, they are family. He pulled up images of human families gathered around tables sharing meals, grandmothers teaching children to cook, markets full of colorful spices, restaurants serving foods that would require hazmat teams for other species. When you ask humans to explain their diet, Minho said, you are asking them to explain their entire civilization. Dr. Suji took over again. The council wants to know if humans are dangerous. The answer is yes, but not in the way you think. We are not aggressive. We are not conquerors, but we are survivors. We evolved on a planet that tried very hard to kill us, and we are still here. That makes us adaptable, resilient, tough. She paused, looking at each council member. It also makes us valuable. Think about it. Humans can colonize worlds that other species cannot. We can eat foods that others cannot. We can survive conditions that would be lethal to most of you. In a galaxy full of hazards, you need species that can adapt. One council member, a being of pure logic, asked the question everyone was thinking. What else about Earth is toxic that you consider normal? Dr. Suji smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone with a very long list. Would you like it alphabetically or by lethality level? The room erupted. Council members talked over each other. Some were fascinated. Others were horrified. The chairman had to call for order 3 times. Finally, he spoke. This council will need time to review this information. Dr. Suji, we may have more questions. I will be happy to answer them, she said. But I should warn you, the more you learn about humans, the more questions you will have. After the hearing, Tai met with Dr. Suji and Minho. Did we pass? He asked. We did not fail, Dr. Suji said carefully. They are scared, but they are also interested. Fear and fascination often go together. Hyun joined them, carrying 2 cups of coffee. She offered one to Dr. Suji. I brought this from the human cafeteria. Real coffee, earth-grown. Dr. Suji took a sip and sighed happily. I miss this. The station coffee is too weak. They did not notice the 3 council members watching from across the room. The members saw the humans casually drinking a substance that would cause cardiac arrest in most species. They saw them smile. They saw them relax. One council member turned to the others. They really do drink poison for fun. Yes, another agreed, and they call it normal. Yes. There was a long pause. Then the first council member said what they were all thinking. I am very glad they joined our side. The investigation continued for another week, but the conclusion was already clear. Humans were strange, yes. Dangerous in their own way, yes. But they were also exactly what the Galactic Union needed. Species that could survive anything. Species that looked at a deadly planet and called it exciting. Species that turned poison into cuisine. The galaxy would never be boring again. 6 months passed. The Galactic Survival Academy looked different now. A new building stood on the east side of campus, built with reinforced ventilation systems and triple-sealed doors. The sign above the entrance read Human Methodology Training Center. Smaller text below warned, Atmospheric alerts normal. Do not panic. Velthar stood outside the building, his skin a mixture of pride and exhaustion. 6 months ago, he had been a simple survival instructor. Now he was the galaxy's leading expert on human endurance. He was not sure if this was an honor or a punishment. Hyun walked up beside him. She had stayed at the academy as a permanent instructor. Ready for the new semester? She asked. No, Velthar admitted. But I have learned that humans rarely let people be ready. You just do things and expect everyone else to keep up. That is accurate, Hyun agreed with a smile. Inside, the new classroom was filling up. Students from across the galaxy had applied specifically for this course. Some wanted to learn human survival techniques for practical reasons. Others just wanted to understand how humans were still alive. A few were here because they had lost bets. The curriculum had changed dramatically. New courses appeared in the Academy catalog, all marked with human warning symbols. Introduction to Chemical Tolerance, Human Perspective. Advanced Toxin Identification, The Human Exception. Survival through Adaptation, Learning from Earth. Why Pain Can Equal Flavor, a Psychological Study. Tay had graduated from basic training and was now a teaching assistant. He stood at the front of the classroom next to Hyun and Velthar, feeling strange. 6 months ago, he was just another student. Now he was an example, a case study, a warning label come to life. Welcome, Velthar began, his skin showing the calm blue of a professional teacher. This is Human Methodology 101. Before we start, I need everyone to understand something important. Humans are not better than you. They are not stronger or smarter or more evolved. They are simply adapted to conditions that would kill most of you. This course will teach you to think like them, not be like them. A student raised a tentacle. Instructor, is it true that humans eat food that can kill us? Yes, Velthar said simply. On purpose? Yes, for fun? Apparently. The student lowered its tentacle, looking disturbed. Hyun took over. Let's start with basic principles. Human survival strategy is based on 3 concepts: adapt, endure, and find a way to make it taste good. Today, we will focus on adaptation. She pulled up images of Earth. Not the beautiful promotional images that planets usually showed. These were real. Deserts where nothing should live. Frozen tundras. Dense jungles. Active volcanoes. Deep ocean trenches. Humans live in all of these places, Hyun said. Not just survive, live, build cities, raise families. Create art. How? Because we learned that if something is trying to kill you, you have 2 choices: leave or adapt. Humans usually choose adapt. Over the next hour, they covered case studies. Humans in the Himalayas living where oxygen was scarce. Humans in the Sahara living where water was rare. Humans in the Arctic living where everything was frozen. In every case, humans had found ways to thrive. The lesson, Velthar concluded, is not that you should eat poison or live in terrible conditions. The lesson is that survival is not about avoiding danger. It is about understanding danger and working with it. After class, several students approached with questions. Adendari wanted to know if humans could really digest cellulose. Aquilarian asked about human pain tolerance. A small, cautious creature from a peaceful world asked the question they all wanted to know. Are humans always this crazy? Yes, Tay said. But we are friendly crazy, not dangerous crazy. Is there a difference? The creature asked nervously. Sometimes, Tay admitted. Meanwhile, across the campus, something new had appeared. The human cafeteria. It had started as a simple food station for human students and staff. Now it was becoming something else. A curiosity. An attraction. A place where brave non-humans could witness human eating habits in their natural environment. The cafeteria required signed liability waivers. Medical staff were on standby at all times. The ventilation system could clear the air in 30 seconds. Warning signs covered every wall in 40 different languages. But still they came. Cole was a regular now. He sat at a human table eating carefully prepared meals that his doctors had approved. Nothing too spicy. Nothing too toxic. Just enough to give him what he called the human experience without putting him in medical stasis again. I still do not understand how you eat this every day, he said to Tay, gesturing at his mild vegetable soup. That is the weakest thing on the menu, Tay pointed out. I know. That is what worries me. Other students watched from safe distances. Some took recordings. One enterprising Vexillian had started a documentary series called Humans Eat What. It was surprisingly popular across 36 worlds. The real change, though, was happening in the wider galaxy. Human restaurants began opening on space stations and colony worlds. Most non-humans could not eat the food, but they came anyway. They watched through windows. They smelled the air, their sensors going crazy. They tried to understand. Some businesses hired humans as survival consultants. If a human could live there and cook there, the planet was probably safe for colonization. Human approval became valuable. Human tested was a selling point for dangerous worlds. The Galactic Union even created new regulations. Any product intended for human consumption had to be clearly labeled. Safe for human use and safe for general use were now different categories. Insurance companies charged extra for covering humans in the food industry. Back at the academy, a new semester began. A new class of students arrived. Among them was Jiho, a human from Earth's southern colonies. He was young, enthusiastic, and completely unaware of the chaos the previous human students had caused. On his first day, Velthar started the traditional lecture on toxic plants. He had given this lecture hundreds of times. He knew it by heart. But now, whenever he showed a dangerous plant, he found himself glancing at the human student, waiting. He showed an image of a plant with glossy leaves and white flowers. "This is Myristica fragrans," he explained. "It produces a neurotoxin that causes hallucinations, seizures, and organ failure. It is banned on 70 worlds. Do not eat it under any circumstances." Jiho raised his hand. Velthar's skin went through 3 colors in 2 seconds: fear, resignation, exhausted acceptance. "Yes, Cadet Jiho?" "That is a nutmeg tree, Instructor," Jiho said cheerfully. "My grandmother puts it in cookies." The classroom went silent. Students who had heard the legends looked at each other. It was happening again. Velthar's translator flickered. Then it displayed a message: "Unable to process. Human logic error." The instructor looked at the ceiling as if asking the universe for patience. "Of course she does," he said quietly. All 4 of his arms slumped at once. "Everyone, take notes. We need to update the toxicity database. Again." As Jiho unpacked his lunch, several students changed seats. The smell of kimchi began to fill the room. Proximity alarms activated. The ventilation system kicked into high gear. Velthar watched all of this and thought about his career choices. He could have been a simple geology teacher. He could have studied rocks. Nice, safe, non-toxic rocks. Instead, he was here, teaching survival skills to a species that considered poison a food group. He updated his personal log, a habit he had started 6 months ago. Year 1 of human integration continues. They still terrify us. They probably always will. Today's lesson: never assume you have seen the strangest thing humans will eat. There is always something stranger, always. In the cafeteria, Yun and Tae shared a meal. She had made stew with ingredients that had 17 different warning labels. He had brought bread that contained enough preservatives to be classified as industrial chemicals on 12 worlds. "Do you think they will ever understand?" Tae asked, gesturing to the non-human students watching nervously from across the room. "No," Hyun said, "but that is okay. We do not understand why they think this food is dangerous. To us it is just food." "Just food," Tae repeated, taking a bite of pepper that made his eyes water. "Normal, everyday food." They clinked their coffee cups together, the liquid inside strong enough to strip paint. Outside the window, the galaxy stretched infinite and vast. Humanity had found its place in it, not as warriors, not as diplomats, not even as explorers, but as the species that looked at poison and said, "Yes, but does it go well with rice?" And somehow, that made them more interesting than anyone had expected. The galaxy was learning an important lesson. The most dangerous species was not always the one with the biggest weapons. Sometimes it was the one with the strangest appetite. Somewhere in the Academy archives, Velthar's final note on human nutrition was filed away for future teachers. It read simply, "Good luck. You will need it. Also, never accept dinner invitations. Just trust me on this."